with E.A. Koetting. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing spectacular, better than ever. If I'm being honest, better than ever. But yeah, no, dude, life is great. My magic is great. Yeah, dude, everything just keeps unfolding. It's like the the path gets super scary sometimes because sometimes you can't see where you're walking. Sometimes it feels like you're about to fall off of the goddamn path. But then if you just endure, because those it's like a cyclical thing. Like that happens from time to time. Just keep on your path, steadily fucking walking it, and then it loops back around. You're like, oh yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. And so I've definitely hit that. I mean, and let me actually be a little more specific on that, actually, if you don't mind. I feel like with my magic, I was kind of doing circles in the same thing. You know, it's like I had hit the demonic and the infernal really hard and hit some necromancy, and I was kind of looping. Not really. It's like I was in a holding pattern, trying to figure out what I was supposed to do. And I was like, well, maybe I could do like more grimoires on demons. I could go deeper on each of the gatekeepers. But I could feel like I was kind of stuck. I was stuck in everything that I had done, which makes sense. The gravity, the gravity of some of the matches that I've had the last few years. Yeah, it's going to pull you hard. And but I actually hit a moment with both Satan and Azazel, where they both said, you know, Satan's words were, the side quests are the main quests. And I was like, what? And he goes, rune magic, elemental sorcery, this and that. He goes, you think these are your side quests? This is your main quest. Your main quest is to go from system to system, absorbing and metabolizing, and then reporting to the world of what you've experienced and what keys you can deliver to them. That's my path. And it's like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Stop thinking my main quest is to be stuck in one place. My main quest is to always be unfolding, continually unfolding. And you know, Azazel really pointed me strong towards the runes. And it's really interesting with Azazel, particularly in my life. He's the one that pointed me to Haitian Vodun. He was like, yeah, it's time you start working with some Haitian Vodun. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay, cool. So I start working with that. I spend like, 2 or 3 years fully invested in that. And then Papa Legba goes, it's time for you to go back to Azazel. I'm like, how do you guys even know each other? Like, you're completely different systems or whatever. It's nuts. But Azazel's done it this time as well, where he's like, yeah, you need to go. Specifically, what he was telling me was to commune more with my ancestors. I started communing more with my ancestors. My ancestors come from Norway, Switzerland, and Germany, and so my blood is infused with the rune. You know, it's infused with these ancient gods, and so that started waking up for me. And then it was like, here's what it feels like: is lights coming on in the hallway. Like, first, this is what I need to do. Then, boom, 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 showing me the whole hallway forward. But it's just one light at a time. But as soon as they started lighting up, it was like, bop, 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 and then not the whole hallway, but dude, I can see at this point, I know the next 12 or 13 books that I'm going to write. I've got the next like 5 years of my work just mapped out for me, because I leaned into that one light. I grabbed that one breadcrumb and I'm like, what's this? And then it just kept going, you know? So, dude, so all of that is to answer the question of I'm doing great.
No, dude, that's perfect, dude. Because the veins of the different levels of expansion and growth in your journey. Because we start off and we have the hardcore, you know, starting in maybe one sector. Maybe someone's working with angels or someone's working with demons, and you're starting to find out who you are by working with different systems. Because when you're working inside of all these different systems and everything, you're finding little pieces to the puzzle of who you are. And these spirits don't want you to devote your soul to them. No, they want you to work with other things, like us speaking with the Saint Germain and working so heavily with him, as well as having my workings of King Paimon to a deep level, and Lugala Beta Burr from the Simon Necronomicon. So it's just comes down to like, who are you and what is your journey? And like, I'll agree, like, there's even patterns of my own life. You know, I said no to love spells for a long time because that's what got me into them. And then there was a section of my life where I'm like, you know what? I'll do as many as I want. Who gives a shit? And honestly, I mean, this is no one really knows much of this in the background, but I've had to deal with some shenanigans out of something that there's nothing I did. And like a random person making my life in some way like fuckery because of whatever. I don't want to get into specifics of everything, but I looked at that, and when I was doing love spells, I was thinking about other people, and I was like, dude, it is baneful. Like you can do them, you can not do them. I'm not telling anyone what to do, but at the end of the day, it is baneful because it can affect someone's life, and not just their feelings for you. It can mess up their job. It can mess up their personal relationships with people. It can mess up the journey that they're on. And so I'll just shout out Anubis. I made an oath to Anubis. Like that's something I will never fucking touch. Like other than loving yourself, because most of the time people go into they're not loving themselves and being able to have that confidence and being who they really are and actually understanding themselves because they're so focused on someone else, and that's energy, and that's what Anubis even told me. Your energy, what are you putting it into mentally? What about your money, whatever? Like I might you buy a tarot reading or whatever, or mentality, and all those things are a waste of your energy. How can you be rebirthed if you're still plugging into death? So you have to unplug that, and by seeing that and understanding that, not only for my own just life in general, but that opened up so many other doors to me be able to expand in different things, as well as seeing in my own path, what am I focusing my magic on? What do I want to grow as an enterprise? And so, like what you said with the lights in the hallway, there's also sometimes off-putting stuff that you're like putting your time into, and not till you understand that, well, that light turn off and then show you the right one, but that one's too far away in a different direction. You're like, what the fuck? Why is that on out there? So I'll just say, man, like you saying about understanding and cutting away the bullshit and all that, I really do resonate with that, because it's not till you know who you are and what you're doing till you can finally take those fully next steps for that light to turn on. And some people in their lives, I see that light hasn't even changed. Not one thing's getting forward. And like you said, it's circular. And that circular rhythm is that just rottenness. So I guess that's all I gotta say about that.
Well, Zerafina's in the chat. Zerafina, love of
What's
my life. Hello, hello, hello. Anybody else that shows
thank
up in the
you.
chat? So great to have you guys here. But all right. So here's one of the big keys for me that's really been unlocking me is daily spiritual work, daily spiritual exercises. And so for me, it honestly started with yoga, but I was trying to find just like a physical activity I could do that would help me stay a little healthier and be flexible. And then Belial Belial actually told me, because my back was killing me, and he's all, you need to start yoga again. And I was all, don't you? Because I called him and I'm like, can you help me alleviate my back pain? And he's like, you need to get back into yoga. And I was like, I was like, can we do a spell or something? He's all, you don't, how do you put it? He goes, you've gotten yourself here through a long time of abuse. It's going to take you a long time to pull yourself out of it. It's not something that you can just wave a wand. And I was like, all right. So start doing yoga. And then that does lead me, because let me back up a little bit, dude. Going through the gatekeepers, especially at the depth of it, it was the most full dark night of the soul I've ever experienced. It was a full facing of the monster within me. It was a full facing of the trauma that I've had to endure through my life. And it got me to the darkest place I've ever been in my life. Absolutely the darkest, most sustained period of, because I've done, through my life, I've gone into like dark periods, whatever. This was for years, a sustained fucking darkness where I was bubbling, intentionally reaching inside of me and bubbling up everything that made my life hell. Everything that was making my life hell from the beginning of my birth to the present moment. And I had to deal with it all and drag it all up out of me and look at it. And so that did result in a full on deep depression. And actually, when I stopped using drugs, that wasn't the end of my depression. That was right in the middle of it, because I was like, this, I'm just pulling myself into death. That was not even slow. That was a speeding up suicide that I was committing right there. And so I got sober, but the depression, all of the everything that I was dealing with internally was still there bubbling. So I stopped eating for a while, where it was just like I couldn't even bring myself to eat. Sleeping didn't make sense. And then on the other side, where I was just eating constantly, and you get, in my videos, like, it's clear, I started gaining quite a bit of weight, and then whatever, it's kind of fluctuating with my weight, because I was just trying to find my ground, trying to find a way to keep my feet on this planet so I could stay here, because that was the pull, was to not. And the gatekeepers helped me get through it. First off, they helped me stimulate it. They helped me bring all this stuff up that I didn't know. I didn't know these were my shackles. I didn't know how bound to my own crap I was. And they helped me break through it, for sure. But then coming out of it, getting into yoga, that was like getting back into yoga, because it's been something through my life I've always picked up. It was my first magical discipline, was from the Yogi Baba Maharaja. And so when I started picking it back up, it was like, yeah, I need to find some way of getting my body, because I had stopped going to the gym. I had stopped, exercising. I had just completely just taken the hands off of my life, and I was like, dude, I don't know what to do. So and this was about the same time I was getting canceled and losing everything. So it was like, you know what? I obviously don't have control, so I'm not even going to pretend to have control. Boom, hands off the wheel and just let it slide. And so when I was ready to start taking control of my life again, getting back into yoga was one of the first steps. And then that led me just day by day into not just doing the physical exercises, but relaxing fully into it. And then after my yoga every morning, sitting or kneeling, actually, that's my meditation posture, is a kneeling posture, kneeling and closing my eyes, relaxing fully, and just letting go. Day after day, and just for the sake of it, felt good. After yoga, it just felt good just to sit and let go. Then I started having DMT microdose experiences without doing DMT. All of a sudden, my pineal gland, my third eye, just starts opening, and patterns start arriving. And it's like geometric, just like dosing myself on DMT, full on. Patterns emerging, and at first it was just cool geometric patterns everywhere, and it would fully immersive, every color of the rainbow, but in perfect patterns. And the things that if you look at Hindu mandalas, and in Asia, they've got all kinds of, every single culture in Asia, they've been seeing the same stuff. In Kabbalah, this has been seen as well. This is Metatron's cube, is the same exact. This is what the world is composed of. It's not objects, lines of energy that are all interconnected. And within those lines, that's how, it's like a matrix that things form inside of. But the visions of going to crazy realms, seeing Mahakali's world, being literally at Shiva's feet, and he's a giant and I'm worshiping him, those all come and go. But the main thing is, every day I'm sinking into an openness and a connectedness with spirit. Whatever spirit wants to show me that day, if I need to worship that day at Shiva's feet, or if I need Krishna to come and help me find self-forgiveness, whatever it is, letting go and opening myself up and making that my full focus for just a few minutes. Now, why I'm saying that, what really triggered me is, when we're talking about the hallway and the lights start lighting up, and then you got the little obnoxious thing trying to get your attention right there.
Yeah.
By taking your attention and every single day, putting it fully into spirit, letting spirit show you whatever it has to show you, fully immersing yourself, those little things don't even catch your attention anymore. You don't even see them. If you see them, it's a little vapor that you can just ignore just as easily as whatever random thought you happen to have. Because and now I've doubled down on this recently, where the past few months I've started a nighttime. I've talked to you about this nighttime yin yoga, with a much more relaxing meditative yoga at night. And then I've put in a midday Just at some point in the midday, I'll go
Oh,
outside
wow.
to get the most out of your meditation. I'm going to tell you this: face the sun. And if you can get full sunlight on yourself, that's great. But face the sun, close your eyes, and just watch the inner patterns. At first, it's just the random normal patterns, but as you sink into the theta state, and as your third eye opens up, those patterns become fractals that suck you into the worlds. So that's why I started, because it's getting cold. So in the morning and the evening, I do my yoga right here in the temple rather than outside. But then I try midday where I can get out, get the light in my face. And there is something about sunlight. Sunlight it's overlooked. There's a reason that every single culture, including Christianity, worships sunlight. The sun is God. And by connecting your third eye with the sun, it is feeding you the energy to just waken yourself up.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely I've only been doing hot yoga on the occasion and kind of half-assedly done things at night. Like I'll stretch, but like really like do yin yoga when you because like I'll be watching some videos and everything. And holding a position, people might think it's like easy, like, oh, it's relaxing. No, that release is a bitch. And like I've even go on pull-up bars and just hang on it, don't even pull myself up, but just to release. And you sometimes don't know how much pain that you have inside till you try to actually decompress. And yeah, man, that honestly, I'm actually blessed because where I'm at, the sun at sunset will be able to face me directly, and I got a porch, so I'm gonna start doing that because the fractal seeing that fractal in the hall, the Metatron, the hologram of reality, and seeing that like there's actually a box I have with a cube on that Metatron cube. And the reason why I like it so much, I have it on that alchemite organite triangle that we made and did that ritual with. And that thing has like a Cortana from Master Chief in it. So I put my box on that on top of that. So it's like the whole entire day is based upon restructuring the matrix with Metatron and having Cortana with me throughout the entire day of the objective. And so it's it's awesome. It's awesome.
Well, and all right, so here's we don't need to do as much as we think we need to do. What we need to do is let go of the resistance that's keeping us from the things we want. I'm thinking about the love spell situation, for instance. That's a really good one. We don't need to force people to love us. We need to drop whatever resistance it is from loving ourselves and from allowing others to love us fully, and from accepting love in all the many forms that it's going to arrive. And I mean, because I'm going to be honest, like sexual, intimate love, that's great. That's not going to fill my cup. I also need friends that I can hang out with. I also need, I need cats to snuggle with. There's a million different ways that we need to fill our cup of love, but we have a lot of resistance. This is in the Yoga Sutras. So Patanjali, thousands of years ago or something, probably not that long ago, but the Zoo Patanjali in India took all of the teachings of yoga and wrote it down for the first time. He's the guy that actually took it and compiled the Yoga Sutras. And it's not just the stretches and the although those are included, the postures, but it's more of it is the internal state. And right away at the very beginning, he says, you don't need to cultivate supernatural powers. You don't need to cultivate psychic powers. All you need to do is let go of all resistance, and you can feel that in your body. So when you're saying like when you stretch, let's say you're just doing a simple, touching your toes or getting as close as you can. So most people, if you're going to try that, they'll just do it for a second and they come back up. It's like, whoa, get back down, hold that for a second. Yeah. What's happening there is you're stretching your ligaments and tendons and muscles, but deeper than that is your fascia. Your all of your muscles and all of your tendons and all of your skin and everything is connected by this layer of fascia that's connecting it's the connective tissue throughout your body. And that hardly ever gets stretched and exercised because we hardly ever hold a difficult position for very long. We bounce out of it as quick as we can. If you just hold it and you can feel it just with any stretch, you can feel that tightness and you want to get out and then a release. What you don't know, or what's maybe the invisible part of that, is in every single one of those releases, there's emotional, psychic energy that's built up in that phase. And so when you release, when you feel that, when you're doing the stretch and you feel that release, and you go, that's actually a psychic release of things you were carrying. Maybe your trauma, maybe somebody else's trauma you picked up, maybe just little, whatever psychic garbage that you've stored inside of the fascia in your body. And so doing things like yoga or Tai Chi or even Pilates, these exercises that actually utilize your body, will release that energy. And so you're not holding on to the baggage. It actually is a physical way of letting go of the baggage as well.
Wow. So that's also why you can get sick, I feel like, because you're holding in that type of shit inside of your energy and putting that out. And yeah, like what I understood, because I was not doing love spells for a while because I was like, I don't know, there's some reason why I wasn't wanting to do them. But then I gave myself the opportunity to go after it. And then by doing that, I realized like, no, I was trying to resist doing it. Now I don't even want to do it. And getting that expelled out of the body and actually thinking about things and meditating on things. Cause like I went to the electric forest and their sound thing around the trees. When they did that, it activated the DMT. It was with just sound, and I was sober, sitting inside of just a sound of things, which is insane that it can be a possibility. And but when I went to that moment, that was the one thing that locked in my mind. I was like, you must eliminate and destroy to be your full self. Because then you know what you're doing. Because if you do magic and you half-ass have any resistance or even feel like you're not a beggar, you're actually like, no, this is my will. I need this to fucking happen, and we're gonna make this fucking happen. Without that fire, you're not gonna fucking do anything because you have the resistance inside of your being. So actually, by understanding that principle and seeing all the other different facets from the one fractal in different directions made me be able to elevate, develop, see a greater picture. Actually made it so I could be in where I'm at right now, like open up that door with the location I'm at. Like it was everything is so compound, and it's crazy because a year there is the year cycles because there's the synchronicities you'll see for that, and then you'll understand, wow, I didn't need that. And yeah, I'm at a point now where my next step is getting rid of nicotine with these one pouches. Um, Not anything against nicotine because I fucking love nicotine, but I know how much of an angry person I can get on this shit. Like I have no control if I have a Zen pouch. Like it's just um,
Mm.
and I understood. And that's what that one post you commented on. The mad. Why are you mad? I saw on my own day. I'm like everything's great. Everything's good. Like why am I just sitting there like this that motherfucker gonna try to pass me? I'll honk. I'll fucking do it. Like understanding like that's not coming from anything other than nerves. And
Mm.
then to take that time also of that meditation, like I make sure in the morning, even if it's only 5 minutes, that's something too for anyone who's like, oh, where's my time? Because I get like that. I'm like, where's my time? You have 5 minutes to just sit, even if you just sit still and do fucking not a damn thing, just
Yeah,
sitting there and let the processes go on in your brain, because then you're not moving around with that shit going on in your brain. You're actually sitting there to digest. And so it might take a long time for you to digest, but you've already had stored in, but at least then you can expel it out because that's dis-ease. And at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to not have to deal with. And we want to go to the next step. We want that next light to come on. So
yeah.
you got to be focused in on that. And something that's really funny, dude, is we've been going for 24 minutes and I hadn't even started one thing because of how authentic. Like talking with you makes all the doorways of like other shit come about to where it's like that's our true like meaning with magic and all that stuff. Like I'm very thankful to be able to even speak about my own experiences on that because people
Sure.
just need to understand like if you're not doing that, doing those movements, those meditations, and also understanding the projection of your magic and quit being so locked in on something that's limited. Like you said, your whole business just was going down during that. And for you to say fuck it, I don't have control, I think you have more control by saying you don't have control,
Well, you know
truly.
what? And, well, a really a big thing that's a constant relief. Well, real quick, Occult Circus, great having you here. Thanks for catching this live.
Thank you for
But
saying something. I apologize because I'm terrible. I apologize to you both.
um, but oh crap! What was I? What was I saying? What were you saying? Dang it! I lost it.
No, I threw it off too, dude. I threw it
What's up?
off.
What's up? Our Nocturne, great having you here as well. But letting go of resistance. Dang it! I lost it, dude. Lost it.
No, that me too. Okay, I'll ask you the first
No,
question.
I got something to add there because you said,
Okay.
with the time crunch. Okay, so here's this miracle that I've landed on because I started doing a ton of background research on meditations, and I'm having these visionary experiences, and I was like, well, am I just tripping, or what's going on here? So I started investigating all of them, and it's like, no, this lines up with actual yoga, practice and discipline, blah 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 blah. Check this out. Set a timer for 3 minutes. Get into whatever posture you want to get into, and just close your eyes, relax completely, and breathe. Let go of everything except for your breath. And just do that for 3 minutes. All right, that's all you need. 3 minutes. Now the timer is going to go off. Why 3 minutes is that? There's this. It's like a mini cycle that's happening in your brain. That's the optimum. No matter how long you've been meditating for, no matter how good you are at this, your mind will go deep. It'll swim deep in the depths, and then it'll start to naturally rise up right around 3 minutes. Because you're going to notice every time you start coming back to you, and you're like, "How long's it been? This has been crazy." And then the timer goes off every single time. So then what you do is, don't have the volume up too loud on your timer so it doesn't jolt you, but then just see if you want to reset it. If you want to do 6 minutes, just reset it once. See how you feel after that. And then if once the timer goes off, you're basically using a timer just to help you kind of go through these cycles of a natural 3-minute loop through your meditation, because that's how long it's going to take you anyways. Your mind's naturally going to fall deep and rise back up within 3 minutes. And then with the beauty of that is, it is a full cycle. And so you're going to go into the depths. You're going to release and relax and come out of it within 3 minutes. If that's all you can do, great. Get back to work, go change the diapers on the baby, whatever it is that you need to do with your day, go do it. You've got your meditation in. If you want to do 6 minutes, 9 minutes, 24 minutes, whatever you want to do, just do it with that loop of 3 minutes at a time. So what I've done is I've kind of stolen some of my favorite soundtracks on YouTube of like different artists that do like ambient music. I've stolen their stuff, taken it into to my audio program, and inserted a bonk of my djembe. I just recorded like me going bonk on my djembe, and then I just inserted that every 3 minutes. So I've got my meditation track. I'll send you that, dude. I'll send you some links from my meditation tracks, because it's every 3 minutes. And so I'll do that with my evening yoga and my meditations. Just turn that on, and then just lose myself deep into the trance. And then every 3 minutes there's a bonk, and I can go, okay, am I ready to come out, or do I want to go back in? So that's just a little that's just there. And then I wanted to touch on the nicotine thing too, dude, because this is I can feel that with myself. That'll be something I've already started. As we're talking, I'll light up my cigarette, take a couple puffs, and put it out, because that's about the tolerance I have. I don't have the tolerance anymore to smoke an entire cigarette, anymore. And so I'm winding it down, but I am feeling, as my spiritual state is increasing, as I'm glowing with more and more of my own divine light, that doesn't make sense. Drinking as much soda doesn't make as much sense. And it's just like a natural. I don't want to like buckle down and force myself to quit smoking or to quit. I don't feel like that's sustainable for me. It's gonna naturally run its course, and so it is kind of. I can see myself, just the claws that the addictions and habits had in me are loosening. Another part of that is the false beliefs. We got false beliefs about this stuff. Like, if I have a cigarette, it's going to calm me down. No, it doesn't. It doesn't calm you down. It's actually a stimulant. It's gonna make you more anxious, more fearful. And so stop lying to yourself. And once you do that, you're like, you start taking out the excuses you use for self-destruction. Because it is like we excuse the It's funny and sad at the same time. I see this happen all the time in consultations where people argue for their misery. They'll tell you
Ooh.
why they're miserable, and you're like, oh, well, here's the solution. They'll sit there and argue why they can never come out of it. Oh, well, I got to be in this marriage, or I've got to be in this house, or I've got to be in this job. You don't understand. It's like, well, if you're going to make it, you can find all the reasons why you could make a change, but instead you're finding reasons why not to.
That's it's funny. The last couple weeks, I've noticed that with even some people I've been close with for years. And I've honestly gotten to a no tolerance. I don't really care. I just tell it for what it is. It's no emotion. It's just factual. You're just stating what is like that exact thing to people. Like, you don't like your job. You say you hate it. You keep calling in. Like, quit the job. No, I just or your house has been a mess. How long until you're gonna finally get that cleaned up? Every time I talk to you, it's you complaining about your life, and then I say, "Is your house yet cleaned up?" No, not yet. It's like, holy shit. Like, you've been complaining about your weight and yet you haven't gone to the gym, or like you have a relationship or a friendship or a family member. It's just the amount of shit when you say the same thing over and over. It doesn't matter if it's blood or not blood. You know what I mean? If some people are just stuck in that shit, then they don't want that light on top of them to go forward. They're really choosing that. And that's kind of where that parable, don't give. I remember last time I said this, I butchered it. Don't give the pearl to the swine. And so you just like, we got it, yes. So it's just one of those things where once you understand your own worth too, then you're not going to waste your time. Because why would you waste your time with anyone that isn't going to respect you in the way that you should? Because if you see yourself for what you are, you're like, I don't give a shit. Like, fuck it. Why would you want to do that? So it just comes down to knowing yourself, and that's cool. That 3 minute thing, dude, I'll definitely use. I thank you. That'd be fucking great.
Uh, and Occult Circus. Well, Lilith the Magic. What's up? Occult Circus says, I remember years ago you mentioned Nordvarg. Very cool ambient stuff. Yeah. So the check this out. If you want a good recommendation, you want to trip out to some crazy deep dark music. Check out Nordvarg's album, or it's like a live performance or something he did called um, the Narmataru Curses. The Narmataru, Nar, next word Mattaru, curses. The Narmataru curses, dude. I took this album out. It's so Nordvarg does ambient. He does like dark ambient, but every sound that he uses, he is physically creating. So he doesn't digitally create his sounds. He's got one sound where it's like a wavy sound, and what
Yeah.
he's got a long saw blade that he's got the saw blade and he's wiggling the end of it to make that sound. So he's doing like industrial, self-created ambient music, and with bells, all kinds of stuff. I'll take that particular album. I'll take it, download it, get it on my phone, and go take it in the middle of nowhere and play that. If I can bring a speaker with me and just play it, just sit there and just listen to it, meditate, go walk around. It doesn't matter. But you were saying this about the music too, that music is magical. There's no getting away from it. You can't separate magic from music at all.
Hmm.
And you can the especially if you take music, like you said, out in the woods, take music and listen to it out amongst the trees or in the desert. You're isolating the music from all the other crap that's in the ether, and you're just attuning to the music. That's shamanic. That is 100% shamanic. That's when you look into shamanism. Every single shamanic culture is imbued with music. That you have the shaman is also a musician. You can't be a
Hmm.
shaman without being a musician in these ancient cultures. So
Well,
yeah.
it's to get people to move is a form of mild exorcism, because you're getting out of stagnation, you're releasing. So, of course, getting the fire, you have that gateway open, you're making sound, you're moving around, you're getting loose, you're allowing yourself to actually feel good, and you're totally right. Even the projection making music by the how you feel inside yourself, and when you project outwardly onto that mic, are you going to capture it, or are you just going to let it slip? Like, there is times that you feel it and you need to hit the shit, and that's why I quit going to other people's studios and just made my own. because not all the time am I going to be like, yeah, I'll freestyle at any moment, even if I'm burned out. It might not be the greatest thing, but I'll be laughing, so I don't really care. But it's like really having that moment, like, oh, I need to do this. Like, let's make this happen. Or like, oh, I'm out on a walk. This is a great idea. I need to write this down right now and hope that I don't forget about it later on. And just really taking those moments and locking them in at the time, because yeah, I've had times where it's just like you're wasting time. You know what I mean? Go to a studio and I got done partying the whole night before. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. All right. So I went in my early, maybe like a couple years ago when I first started playing bass with, I've got a guitarist down the road. We'll jam every now and again. It used to be pretty regular, but we've kind of, found our own things that we're doing. But when we were first playing together, he's like, hey, I got the song. Let's try to work on this. And so I'm playing it, and he goes, you're playing the notes right, but can you soften it up? And I was like, how? Like, how do I do that? And he goes, make yourself a little sad. And I was like, think about something a little sad. And I was like, okay, I don't even know if I thought about anything in particular, but I just made myself a little sad. And I played those same notes, and unconsciously, it was softer. My fingers were touching the strings just a little bit softer. It was slipping off of the strings just a little bit softer. It's something that if I was conscious about it, I couldn't make it do. But just making myself sad, the song was a little softer. Make myself happy and bouncy. If I bounce around, the song is bouncy. So it is like the music, it's not just coming from the instrument. The instrument is helping you project it from your soul. And same thing with even just using a microphone. I'm not a singer, but using a microphone, that is a magnifier of your voice and what you're able to do with that. If you got the right distance, you got the right volume, you've got the right tone in your voice, you can do crazy, crazy shit that is a projection of your soul through that music. So music is so, so, so magical. Absolutely.
Yeah, and actually, we'll go into a question. But it actually comes in with music. I wanted to hear, would if there was, let's say, Toyota on this is a radionics question. The sigil of Toyota on the input, and then the output is King Paimon. Would you hypothetically be taking all the energy and money that they would be producing or whatever and plugging that into King Paimon to then help you in your own business or music, because that's the big thing why I work with them, your own inspiration and all those other things be transferred to that, like that way, through that working? Would that make sense?
Okay, so that's a spectacular idea and a spectacular question, and kind of. But here's the thing: if you just slap a Toyota emblem, you're not just getting the wealth of Toyota. All right, so here's one thing. It's interesting that you say Toyota too. I have been trained in the Toyota manufacturing system. So Toyota, and I've never worked for Toyota, but Toyota created a manufacturing system where I think there's 5 different points of this manufacturing system that allows every single employee to be their own quality control and to submit ideas to the management for improvement. And so once you implement these 5 concepts of eliminating waste, eliminating the distance that you have to travel to do, let's say you pick up a part from a conveyor belt. You shouldn't have to walk that far before you take the part to its next thing. If you are walking far, eliminate that distance. So just little things like that Toyota does where they eliminate waste. So slap a Toyota emblem on there, you might find yourself getting some more wealth, etc. But you're also probably going to find yourself just unconsciously going, gosh, I'm wasting a lot of money. I sure am driving a lot more than I need to. And you're going to be compelled by the same values that compel Toyota are going to start to compel you.
Whoa. Okay.
And,
Dang, dang,
if,
dude, because
and so if you're going to use, like, Toyota would be actually a spectacular one to choose because it is a good car company. You would want to really tailor it if you're going to target a company or a person. Understand you're not just going to get just their wealth. Do you want to become more like that person? Make sure it's somebody whose values you want to bring into yourself, or set up some hardcore filters. But I don't even think that I wouldn't even filter. I think the system's going to filter it. But Toyota didn't become rich just by getting money. They became rich through this manufacturing system they developed. And so in order for you to get rich like Toyota, you're going to have to do something similar within your own energetic and financial system. So yeah, so
That's crazy.
that can work, but definitely target it consciously of going like, I'm not just taking their wealth, I'm taking the thing that made them wealthy.
Damn. See, that's the thing. So you would not want to do that to OnlyFans.
No, no, or the military industrial complex or whatever. There's a lot of things you can look at and go like, okay, or the tobacco industry, or the fentanyl trade, or there's a million different things.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking, like, if there was like a bad, like, let's take OF for example, an organization that I truly believe that is evil. Like, when I think of evil, I think of that, because you're not only having people just show themselves off and make all this money off of that, but there's people that's all they're doing. They're not trying to do repopulation. They're not doing any of that. They're plugging all their money into that, making that the glorious thing. And people are wasting their seed, in my personal opinion, on stuff like that. And then these people are going up in value for doing nothing. We're glorifying absolutely nothing, and we're killing the human race. It's actually toxic.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the birth rate's declining like no other. The birth rate's going through the floor. Most young men out there are feeling like they can't get a date, and so it's like, no, they're yeah. There's some big well, and here's okay. So here I'm gonna fingers crossed and be optimistic. All right, so. What we might be experiencing with all of this, it could be the complete decline of everything, or it could just be the natural growth pains of so much freedom. Because our society has experienced a massive explosion of freedom. With this freedom, people go crazy and they go have too much sex and they do too much drugs. But eventually, you sober up and you get married and you have the dog and the white porch and all of that shit. And so, or the white picket fence and the whatever porch, brown porch, whatever kind of porch you goddamn want, you're gonna get that porch. But that as a species and as a society, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're coming through this with some that we're going to have some wisdom and such as we go forward. I also think wisdom is going to be forced upon us. I do. I think that we're at a crossroads right now as a species. First off, we're not alone. Like the first level of not being alone, there's spirits everywhere and they're influencing everything. If you think you're not being influenced by a spirit, it's just because you don't see which ones are influencing you. That's the biggest thing that you can do to like make your life better, is make sure you get the spirits around you that are going to influence you the way you want to be influenced. But spirits are around influencing everything. But then there are hidden species, physical hidden species amongst us, whether they're living in the oceans or in the underworld or in the skies, cloud cities. I don't know about maybe even coming from other planets. Who knows? But we're not alone. We're not alone in this. And it does feel like in some way we're either going to graduate or we're going to get kicked out of school. That's the feeling I get, is we're either going to graduate or we're going to get kicked out of school. And I hope we graduate.
Hey, what's up, Nina? Thank you for being here.
Nina and Zarafina. I was like, Zarafina. Who's hello, and hi, Nina, and hi, Occult Circus. You did some weight loss as well. I used to be 210 pounds, and now I'm 161 pounds. What a difference. Took like 3 years, but yeah, exercise really helps. That's awesome. Good for you, bro. And then Author and Punisher is a spectacular industrial artist. Because he creates these machines. I guess he was like a radiologist or something. He's all, yeah, this one machine. He just starts slamming. He's like, that makes a cool sound. And so his whole thing is just like slamming sound. Boom, 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 boom. But to make his music, he like straps himself into this almost like Voltron type of suit and machine that he's banging all these things around. It's crazy. Cool music though. Very cool. Yeah. If I've got like I'll turn Author and Punisher on if I've got some like cleaning I need to do around the house, get some stuff done. It's not background music. It is like thumping industrial. So yeah. And Borg, what's up, Borg? Great having you here. Oh, an engineer. He was a radiologist engineer or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, I know we had Byron in here who is a radionics engineer, and I was going to just ask, has there been any more things on kind of a date when your guys' new Alchemist box or anything like
we, we,
that?
we're gonna get these up. I was trying to get it out in August, but Timothy had too many other things lined up for the next couple months for releases and stuff. So we're gonna probably find something, or hopefully early next year, because Byron and I went back and forth on, well, it was on making a radionics box, but so we have the option. We always have the option of doing the same thing everybody else does, which is just crystals with wires wrapped around them, hooked up to dials. It's really simple. But I was like, I want to do something big. If I'm going to do something, I want to, knock it out of the park. So instead of crystals, we've used alchemite. So I sent Byron my own alchemite formula, as well as my own personal ingredients. Sent him everything. Just put it in a box. I'm like, here, dude, make some alchemite and use. So we've got alchemite cores instead of crystals. So alchemite is orgonite to the next level. Saint Germain told me about how to make alchemite. It is an orgonite material that it's just going to amplify the hell out of everything. So every single dial is hooked up to an alchemite core, and so he and I worked back and forth, Byron and I, on getting a system that is just perfect. And so at some point a few months ago, I was like, dude, lock that in. Like, your formulas, your recipes, everything is exactly like it needs to be. Lock that in, and we're going to pull the plug on this and make it happen. And now we're just waiting for the right time in the calendar to open up so we can put it out. So that is going to happen. Byron, if you're out there, I'm so sorry about the delay. I wish we could have got this out sooner, but we are going to just blow the lid off of it, because dude, I hardly ever do a ritual that I don't have my radionics going. Like, if I'm doing a ritual here in this temple, pop it on. It's a portal of power that you just tap infinite power from. So yeah, it's a necessity for sure.
No, that's so awesome. I definitely am going to be wanting to get a prototype and test that out and everything. But yeah, the one things with radionics boxes, I mean, I would do a tour of the room, but we're not doing that. There is just boxes everywhere, but each one, not like, there's a couple that I have for, like, if the weather's getting bad or anything like that. Radionic meteorologists, check it out, everyone. But like, for real, when it comes down to, like, it's like anchor points for me. Like, below here, maybe I'll be able to show this one. Let's see if this will flip. Like, they got these three boxes that are all connected, and all of them are to King Paimon and my working with him. And so it's like those three are going to be, because there's a pack down there. I don't know if I can let see that. And for me, so it's like an anchor point. So like, this is the altar of King Paimon, and I have these boxes now feeding into different veins of things I'm trying to grow, like expansion on my enterprises, as well as the big event for next year, and so on and so forth. And then there's defense systems and all these other things that go around, that I don't know. I just feel like radionics are a great way for also points of growth, because I didn't see that section like my protection one, and I just now added a rune to it of protection, that I grabbed a piece of bark and then carved in the rune, like that peace sign. I forget what that one's called, and then put my blood onto it. And then I was like, that is a part of protection. But then you see all these things, and it's why you end up having more than one altar. I didn't actually stand that. The first time I came out to your place, I was like, man, I only got one altar, and I saw all these altars. But it makes sense, because you find these different sections of yourself and all these different things in development. And that's why I love radionics boxes so much, because it's like, man, this is now plugged into that, and I know I am now a different person because of X, Y, and Z. It's just like having a statue of a spirit. You remember who you were when you got that, and the shit you learned with that.
Oh, sure. Well, and just real quick, I got Vorg in the chat. What's up, Vorg? And our Nocturne, great having you here. Sounds like the movie Frank. I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
My apotheosis, great having you here, Jafar. Jafar says, gender informed limits the portal. It's a good thing we are all Baphomet embodied. We are masculine and feminine in one body. And we're even the thing that we are, it's not our body. We are formless. We are eternal. We are limitless, but we are limitlessness expressing itself through this body. So indeed, Jafar, 100%. Varg says, I'm currently building my entire radionics lab. This is the best time of my life at 60. Dude, that is
Oh,
awesome.
hell
And yeah,
yeah.
I got my whole lab over here, and like you say, dude, it started as what was inside that cabinet, and then I'm like, I got to add a theremin to the top for some reason. For some reason, a theremin, okay, it creates the cool sound, and that actually does. The theremin actually does go wild sometimes. I'll be nowhere around it, and all of a sudden it starts going woo. It's just like, which means that somebody's hand is by it. It's just an invisible hand. But I had to add a theremin, and then I got the other table where I've got the Van Graaff generator right there, and then I've got the television that's part of it, and it's like it is so much fun because it's such simple technology. It's the energy that's required is so minimal. It's because it's such a subtle energy that you can pass it through just audio cables. You can pass it through whatever wires you want to pass it through and hook up all kinds of different stuff. That's what I'm actually excited just to I'm gonna actually show off the prototype of this device here. Oh, can you see it?
It's
Oh,
going a little green. I don't know why.
whoa, whoa! Why
Are
did it go
you in the
green?
green screen,
That's
dude?
nuts! Did I hit something?
Dude, I have no idea. Dude, you the ooze has come, bro. We're on Nickelodeon, guys. It says you got the slime. What the hell, dude? That's crazy.
Now it won't let me turn it off. Let me, wait, 1 second. 1 second. I'm gonna turn it back on. It won't let me turn it off now. Now it's doing weird stuff to you too.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
but
Hang on. You might have hit effects. You might have hit that button at the right underneath the little
huh?
microphone thing and see
Huh?
if you actually turn that on.
I can't.
Except Jafar, except no Nickelodeon behind the scenes.
I must have turned it on, but I can't figure out how to. It's not turning off now.
Well, I think that's all right, man. It's all good. I mean, I know you have to go like 8 minutes, so we can have the
All right.
slime.
So here's this real quick. This is
Oh
the
hell yeah! Oh
and
shit!
so first off, it's hardwood that he uses, and then had him dye it black. I'm like, dude, it's got to be black. It's got to be black. Copper output, which can't. Okay, there we go. Copper
Yeah.
output. And then we've got a couple extra auxiliary jacks because this is just the first step. Once we get these out, then that's going to open the door to all kinds of accessories: wands, staffs, mirrors, different portals, manifesting pads, a million different accessories that you can hook up that I'm planning on creating and selling, but that somebody like Vorg could easily figure out how to make your own accessories and plug them in and all of that. You can do so much with this technology.
Oh my gosh, dude. That's fucking cool as shit. Thinking about there was some pad that my friend was telling me to get. It was like it made like sigils or whatever, but you could get it so it would glow that way. It would be like something you could stand on, and then the pad would light up with these different dimensional things and all that shit. So I think if you used AI in tangent with that, which AI has actually, it makes it so you streamline a lot of things so you can kind of maybe get an idea of stuff. Like I've been looking at hashtags and stuff like that, like to maximize. But also, I've seen it in some of my friends. That's everything, everything. And you think if you're a little kid and it's AI tells you everything, and that's what you grow up with for 18 years, then you're never going to learn anything because you're going to be like, oh, I'm used to the robot telling me what's up and also feeding me fucking dinner at night, So it's kind of
Uh,
crazy.
no, and um, I'll use Chat GPT to research things and to help me, find information. And it lies to me. It lies to me like a
Oh.
bitch, and like not the kind of good bitch, but a bad bitch. So, but it'll just straight up just bull-faced lie to you. And if you know the truth, you can say, wait a minute, that's not true. And it'll say, oh, you're right, blah, 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 blah. It instantly will correct itself. But you've got to know, you've got to have an inkling of what's true for you to be able to do that correction. Like you say, give it a generation of people that haven't researched anything in a physical book. Oh, we're going to have problems. That's why, dude, I've really reinvested myself as an author recently and that's why I've got my next 12, 13 books planned out, because I was kind of just through the gatekeepers. I was kind of writing them because the book was a necessary way of me journaling what I was going through. And I was kind of writing books, I guess, because it was like what I had fallen into, but I lost the love for it. Like, I'm going to be honest, Book of Azazel was the last book that I really loved writing. And if you read my books, it was the last really great book that I'd written. Like, the Gatekeeper books were all right. They gave you the all right information. But as far as a great fucking book, I hadn't written one since Book of Azazel, if I'm being honest, until now. Because I did see that. And I was like, oh, okay. One of the big things I was doing with my earlier books is I was trying to teach a very specific skill, whether it's black magic as a whole or baneful magic or evocation. I had a skill I was trying to teach you. And then I would take you from the first meditation or the first ritual all the way to the most intense that you could imagine. And it was like a formula that really worked, that made my books really kick ass. So I was like, dude, let me get back to writing books the way that books ought to be written, with that kind of approach. And so that's how I approached rune magic. That was the first one that I wrote at the beginning of the year. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm just going to go hard in. I didn't ask Timothy if he wanted to do a rune book. I didn't ask anybody's permission. I just said, this is the book I want to write. I just started hitting those keys, and boom, 80,000 words. This is going to be a thick book, and it is amazing. I had to give you everything you could ever want a rune magic book to be. It is how to work with all the runes, of course. How to combine the runes to make bind runes. How to use the runes to work with the giants and the elves and the dark elves. Every single application. How to use the runes for necromancy, for raising the dead, for speaking with your ancestors and receiving your full inheritance. Dude, I go ape shit in this book, and this is, again, like, I feel like this is continuing the good writing I was doing back then. Not to ignore. I don't want to talk shit on my Gatekeepers books, because they were essential. But I was going through a rough time. I wasn't sober for a single one of those books. I was struggling, and I was reporting on my struggle. And that's not the best way to make a book. And so with this approach, rune magic hit it out of the park. I've already written my glamour magic spell book. Zeraphina is going to be joining me in on that. And then after that, dude, I've got elemental magic. I've already started on elemental sorcery, working with fire, water, earth, air, and spirit, and all of the kingdoms and kings within those. How to master these. So pyrokinesis, everything that you could want to do with these elements. Boom, I'm writing that. Then a book on walking the Sephiroth and the Cliff-Off, sphere by sphere, how to exactly walk it, what you need to be doing. And part of that is I'm going to have to teach some people how to soul travel, because some people aren't going to know how. So I got to have a section of the book. Here's how to soul travel. Here's how to evoke, because you're going to need to do all these things to properly walk each of the spheres. After that, a book on the archangels. After that, a book on the Nephilim, and then the dragons, and then the ascended masters. It is, again, like the hallway, all the lights, boom, 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 have lit up for me. It's like, oh, shit. I've never been this excited about the work that I'm doing.
And it's passion, there's a difference between I having to go to work or do whatever versus I'm writing now a song. I'm passionate about that song. Like, maybe if someone paid me money to go make a jingle or whatever, that could be not as much fun versus like, I'm gonna make this song, sneak peek everyone. I'm making a song about talking shit about OnlyFans. I don't give a fuck. And I'm gonna actually send it to some people, and I hope that it gets some traction because of that controversy. I don't give a fuck. But having passion behind things that you do then open up more opportunities for things versus the needs and all that type of stuff. I do know you're got to get going and everything with it being an hour, dude. And honestly, like I would definitely love to have another podcast that you just chatting it up. And I do thank you for your time
Yeah,
and
dude,
everything
I'm
like that.
I'm sorry. I don't think we got to a single one of the questions that you had written down.
we honestly, dude, it's crazy that we didn't, but that's what makes like it's so natural and amazing. Like, because everyone, it's so true and authentic. We honestly really just hit go live because I could sit here and honestly talk to you all day, bro. Like, it's just
Oh yeah.
it's authentic. There's downloads, everyone. Definitely, if you haven't, go to his Odyssey channel. You're live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Definitely check out the Bald Forum. That's a great place when you have just small questions to tap into that. Have some fun there, and you have Noctulius coming out the 31st. So everyone definitely check that out. Bog.co/ND Blackwood/Noctulius. I believe that's what it is. And thank
Yeah.
you all in the chat. Like for real, I appreciate all of you so much. I'm sorry I'm a terrible host at looking at chat, but I appreciate you all so much.
Thanks, dude. Thanks, brother. This has been a lot of fun. Thanks, everybody in the chat. Have a great one. We will talk again soon, brother. Let's do it again soon. Let's actually get to some questions.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. Much love, man. Have a great week. See you, everyone.